the Saints Row reboot kill any hopes for this franchise's revival? It's a question that has been on a lot of our minds, including my own. In fact, I've been thinking about this since, I think, April, when I posted my first Saints Row reboot video. And today, that is exactly what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you my opinion about the whole situation. At this point in time, this game, it's universally known as being a bad game. Despite what some fanboys may say, by coming up with the excuse that it's only the vocal minority that doesn't like this game. You know, like all that stuff, that the whole NPC script they always say. A little over a month since it has released, it still sits at a 2.9 user review score over on Metacritic. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Those saying that it's only vocal minority hating on this game are just addicted to that sweet old good copium. Because in reality, we have been the vocal majority. It is the reason why the stock for Embracer Group had plummeted shortly after this game release. And the player count of this game should tell you just how successful this game is. According to playercounter.com, only 1,459 people are playing the reboot at the time I am recording this. The Saints Row reboot is nothing short of a cringe fest, with unfunny jokes, repetitive gameplay, unoriginality spread everywhere, and just a dash of wokeness thrown in there just for good measure. It is clear to anybody with two brain cells that this game does not live up to the hype of the old games. But has it killed any hopes that this franchise might have had for a successful revival? We already know from a statement said during the annual meeting by Embracer CEO Lars Ringforth that they do expect the game to break even and at least make a little bit of money, but nothing that would compare to their previous releases. And when asked about the future of the franchise, he was very vague on his answer. If you asked me the question I asked you at the beginning of this video, I would say no. I do not think this reboot killed any hopes for this franchise coming back. Now, just wait a second, just calm down, okay? Just deep breaths. Because I do think that this franchise is dead in the water, but not because of the Saints Row reboot, but rather because of the team members behind it and their actions. If you watched any of my earlier Saints Row reboot videos, you would know that I have been quick to call Volition out on any bullcrap that they said during their interviews with different gaming media outlets. But I think that the lies and that they told during this interview is really small compared to what happened after this game came out. And you guys know exactly what I'm going to be talking about next. And her name, or his name, or its name, I don't know, whatever they go by, whatever they identify is, has the initials of D and S. But before we get to D and S, let me just remind you that she isn't the only problem on this team. We have people like Alex Rowland making this tweet here. Then we have our favorite community manager, Deadly Step. She has equated criticisms of this game to terror behavior. And if you ask me, this has damaged Volition's reputation more than the Saints Row reboot could have ever done. More so because they have not come out and they have not apologized for the behavior of their employees. Now, when it comes to the Deadly Step, I don't know if she was just saying these things to get people angry or if she was honestly believing the stupid crap that she was saying. But what she did, it has damaged the reputation of Volition. It's unbelievable. Some of the stuff she said. She's been so quick to argue with anybody who dares to criticize this game. It's unbefitting of a community manager. What she should be saying instead to all these criticisms, instead of attacking people, is simply, we are working on making the game better. Simple reply, nice, nothing argumentative about it, and that's it. Instead, she goes off and off and off because in her mind and in minds like people like her, they're always right, even when presented with facts that shows they're wrong. And of course, anybody they're arguing with is always wrong. And after all of this, after all the backlash she has suffered for being a complete, she had locked her Twitter account because she couldn't take the heat that she was dishing out. And I think that should speak volumes about her character. The next thing I'm going to talk about that she did is something you might not have heard about. And the only reason I know about it is because of the folks over on the Real Saints Row subreddit. She has banned the words Deadly Steph, hashtag replace Deadly Steph, which I will have in the description of this video just as a middle finger to her, and community manager. From a previous tweet she had put out there saying that she has access to the Saints Row YouTube channel, so she knows that the dislikes that one Twitter user posted were wrong. We know that she has access to the Saints Row YouTube page, and in fact probably runs it. So this here, what she probably did, well, not what she probably did, what was done with these words being banned was probably done by her. I can go on all day about the Deadly Steph. That is because you don't treat fans like the way she is doing. This is damaging the company's reputation more than any bad release could possibly do. Because the truth is, there's always going to be bad games out there. Developers are always going to make bad games because that's life, you know. That stuff happens. It's crappy. Could be for a numerous amount of reasons. The developers could overhype what they're selling. Could be because fans' expectations are too high because, you know, sometimes that does happen. But, you know, it's this behavior right here that we are seeing with the Deadly Steph that just completely kills franchises. It creates controversy. When people think about the Saints Row reboot, they're not going to be thinking about the game. They're going to be thinking about the controversy surrounding it. They're going to be thinking about people like the Deadly Steph and her reactions to fans. And the thing is, these people who she is attacking are probably people who bought the game. You buy something, you have a right to criticize it. But people like the Deadly Steph always equates criticism to personal attacks on them. So in short, no. I do not think that the reboot killed this franchise. I think it has been the actions of some of the team members on Volition that has done it. I do think that we will see some DLC out for this game, especially if it was already in development pre-launch. But for a new title in the series, I think it's going to be a very, very long time until we see that. And on one hand, I'm happy about this. If we were expecting another Saints Row reboot, if that's what another Saints Row game would look like, leave the franchise dead. Don't tarnish his name. Don't beat what is it, a dead horse with a stick. You know, leave people remember the Saints Row as the great franchise it was, or at least the first two games. If you're one of those people, which hey, I got no problem with, right? I said before I enjoyed the third game, but I think we can all say that Saints Row 2 was the best. But then on the opposite hand, I'm sad. I'm honestly sad about this. If you watched my other videos, I think I've said that a couple of times in this video. I'm not saying like go back and watch them because I'll be honest, they're horrible, right? But I'm just saying that I've said this before, so I'm just saying it again. In my other videos, I've said that I've been a fan of this game since I was a kid, man. It's before I should have even played it. I played Saints Row 2. I was probably about 11 or 12 years old. First Saints Row game I played. Absolutely loved it. I remember the day Saints Row 3 came out. I was so excited for that. I was 14, I think, something like that. You know, I have so many great memories with this game that, you know, I'm just smiling now. Think about it. I remember playing co-op with my friends and that. You know, it was just a blast to play. And when I say that, I'm sad. I mean, I really am, because the series isn't what it used to be. Everybody can see that. It's not like the old Saints Row games, like we were promised that it would be. I think the only way this game should even be touched again, that a new game should be made, is if the IP is sold to an entirely different company. And I don't mean passed to a different company in Embracer Group, because Embracer, I don't know what to say about Embracer. You know, they could have stepped in at any moment when all this stuff was going on, with the Deadly stuff going on, attacking fans. They could have came down and said, hey, look, Volition, you need to get your employees in check, right? You're damaging the fan base, you're damaging our relationship with the fans. You need to fire the community manager, or you need to do something with her. Like, you need to get her in check, because what she is doing is not okay. But no, they didn't. They stood silent. And the more I think about it, the more stuff I read about the CEO of Embracer, the more I think that the way the Saints Row Reboot turned out was partially due to them. Don't get me wrong, Volition had a hand in this too, but at the end of the day, Embracer is the big daddy, the pimp daddy master. And at any point, they could have came down and they could have told Volition, hey guys, you need to change the direction this game is going in. It's nothing like the old Saints Row game. So I think that if this game just gets passed down to another child company of the Embracer group, we're going to have another Saints Row reboot. The only way I can see this franchise getting a true revival is if the IP, it's just sold to a different company that is not owned by Embracer. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you're stuck around this long, why not watch this video up here where I talk about a Polygon writer that thinks Elden Ring is sexist. I hope you guys have an amazing and wonderful day. Peace out.